This video contains unsettling content and violent content. Viewer discretion advised.
In gaming, the right music is important for a rich and fulfilling experience.
This becomes doubly important in creating an atmosphere that feels creepy.
A happy and charming game can feel like a horror experience just by applying the right music.
So today, we haunt your ears with the top 20 creepy music in platforming games.
Lollipops, Stage 3, Action 52. Action 52 is legendary for being a collection of broken and buggy games, so it's surprising to learn it has an example of creepy audio, worth paying attention to. The game Lollipops sees the main character on a quest to rescue his girlfriend while swinging a green lollipop as a weapon. On Stage 3, the audio takes a very creepy twist, with an unnerving silence and an intermittent tone being played on loop. This creates a feeling of uneasiness to the backdrop of a dark location. Confronting the strange monsters in such bizarre locations to this audio track would be an unnerving experience worthy of a retro horror game. Unfortunately, you're unlikely to experience this as intended, because Action 52 is coded so badly, a significant bug occurred with the audio that caused it to warp, twist, and mix with the sound effects. This in turn becomes something more painful to listen to than scary to immerse yourself in. Retro games are capable of producing creepy music, and while Action 52 came close to achieving that, we are left with hurting ears instead of creeping dread.
The Ripple Catacombs, Kirby 64. On the Ripple Star, Stage 2, known as Catacombs, players will note that it's not scary at all on the surface. The level itself has Kirby and friends going through the sewers, but it's the music that stands out. In a happy-go-lucky game like Kirby, this music hammers you with a sense of ominous dread and anxiety. The progression in the cymbals helps in building tension like the calm before the storm. The longer the music plays, the more you start to feel a sense of urgency. There's a feeling of anxiety with the idea of the true threat looming on the horizon. The creepy factor of the music for the stage sounds more direct rather than subtle. Coming from a puffy pink blob that can swallow anything, the Catacombs audio gives such a harsh shift that sits with you well past the stage's conclusion. The next level goes back to the Kirby formula with more upbeat adventure music, making the previously unnerving music stand out a lot more.
World 5, Dojo Dan for the Amiga. In the Amiga adventure of Dojo Dan, you guide Dan on his quest to defeat the evil tyrant Valrog using his martial arts skills. The final world will force you to explore a haunted castle filled with monsters halting your advance towards the tyrant himself. Backing this scene is a very unnerving soundtrack that warps and twists, while whisper noises can be heard. This mixture of sounds creates a strong sense of dread that would suit Dracula's castle. The longer you're exposed to this, the more it can creep you out, growing your paranoia while not being too overpowering. Best get used to it, as all the stages in World 5 play this music even to the game's conclusion. Our hero saves his people, but at a great cost to himself. He's captured and sent away into space, all while this creepy music keeps playing.
Forest of Fear, Wario Land 3. The Forest of Fear is a stereotypical creepy forest stage, with Wario having to venture through the haunting woods. The stage itself isn't particularly scary, besides some evil-looking faces carved into the trees. What really stands out though is the music. Due to the hardware limitations of the Game Boy Color, the audio itself is very simple, with only consisting of 3 notes, played by varying pitches, followed by long stretches of silence. While simple, it's still able to convey a feeling of apprehension and dread. This might not feel too unnerving, but while you're playing the game, it feels like a jump scare will happen at any moment, though it'll never come. The paranoia of something leaping out at you will keep you hooked to the very end. It adds a ton of suspense to the experience by simply just repeating a couple of notes.
Generator Cavern, Banjo Tooie. In the Generator Cavern of Glitter Gulch Mine, players are immersed in a unique musical experience. The banjo-style melody, combined with horns and other instruments, creates a one-of-a-kind composition. What sets this apart is the sinister undertone, reminiscent of a horror movie. The stage itself adds to the suspense, as it is shrouded in darkness when the lights are off. This creates a feeling of unease, as if something ominous is lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. Navigating the pathways while turning the lights on becomes treacherous, and is more dangerous when they fade, turning every misstep into a brush with certain death. The overall atmosphere is tense, suggesting that something incredibly formidable is nearby. This level deviates from the typical adventurous themes of the game, offering a targeted sense of unease.
Fakery Way, Twinkle Park, Sonic Adventure. As you control Amy while she's pursued by the dastardly Zero robot, as you duck down into Twinkle Park. At first, the audio is loud and upbeat as one would expect, But once the mirror room opens up, the music takes a very different twist. With a lone piano and subtle chuckles heard in the distance, the mirror room becomes confusing and unnerving, made worse by the knowledge you're being hunted by your unforeseen foe. Further exploration becomes a tense experience, wondering when Zero is going to drop in and continue his pursuit while you evade the traps before you. Even when alone, you feel watched and paranoid thanks to the atmosphere provided by the sinister audio. The subtle tension this music adds turns this into something more suited to a horror movie. The way this stands out from the rest of the audio in the stage is a very jarring experience that can sit with you past the level's conclusion.
Mysterious Statue Chamber, Super Metroid. When venturing through the planet Zebes, through the Criteria region, Samus stumbles across a chamber containing a massive statue. This statue depicts 4 major bosses you'll encounter in the game: Kraid, Fintoon, Dragon, and Ridley. The ambience in this room is a mixture of water sounds sloshing around, along with the fading sounds of a drum being hit and a choir's distorted harmonization. This gives you the feeling of uncovering something perhaps best left alone. When a boss has been defeated, the specific figure of that statue will turn gray. However, when all 4 of the bosses are defeated, the entire statue will crumble, revealing a lift to venture deeper through the level. This takes on a new, unnerving feeling that if you continue on, something far worse awaits. Overworld, no crystals, Glover. The levels that Glover can explore bounce with lively colors and upbeat music. When he finds himself in the overworld without any crystals, however, the soundtrack shifts along with the setting. The overworld, in contrast to other places in the game, is a rusted red land of lonely desolation. Its unsettling loop of synthesized beats and cryptic pauses haunt the background. A stale yellow atmosphere hangs in the air with nothing to look at or offer. The entire environment reflects an uncanny sense that this is the one world where the happy titular glove does not belong. Chances of taking physical damage here are not high, but a creeping feeling still rises in the back of the mind every time the music performs another repetitious round of echoes and low bass wailing. It may be best to find an exit before something unfriendly finds Glover.
Boss, Sonic CD US version. When we think of a Sonic game, we think of a family-friendly quest to defeat the evil Dr. Eggman and save the world with the power of friendship. What we don't expect is something ripped out of the dark recesses of our nightmares. The US version of Sonic CD decided to make some creative adjustments to the audio in-game, most notably the boss music. Twisted music and warped audio can be heard along with a ghostly laugh, which turns the upbeat music of the stage into something that induces anxiety, dread, terror, and unease. It turns Eggman from a Saturday morning cartoon villain to something born from horror. Easter egg fans may recognise this music from the iconic, possible anti-piracy screen with creepy Sonic images in the background. God only knows why they chose to put such a haunting soundtrack in a Sonic game, but if the infamous drowning music can exist, then anything is possible.
Drowning, Sonic the Hedgehog. This is quite possibly the most infamous example of a creepy, anxiety-inducing soundtrack in video gaming. The drowning music for Sonic the Hedgehog, as you would expect, plays when the blue blur is running out of air when underwater. Since Sonic lacks the capacity to swim and his speed is heavily encumbered when underwater, your ability to stay alive becomes more difficult. At first you get simple dings as you spend time diving the depths, but the longer you're down there, the more intense the music will become. A 5-second countdown will flash up, and the music gets more rapid and intense, pushing you to escape the water or find a large air bubble. The level of anxiety, stress, and tension cannot be overstated when this iconic soundtrack gets going, forcing you to scramble to find air as the dread creeps up your back. Should you be unable to secure air in time, the counter reaches 0 and abruptly goes silent, sealing your fate. Even seasoned gamers fear this music, leading to water levels in Sonic games to be dreaded and feared throughout the entire franchise, largely because of the chance to encounter this audio nightmare.
The Abyss, Rayman Origins. In the Sea of Serendipity, the deeper underwater level of Swimming with the Stars, a rather chilling music awaits. In the halfway part of the level, you will descend from upbeat and carefree to an uneasy feeling of fear. Once you make it through the doorway, the creepiness kicks into high gear. From wall spikes and jellyfish to claws and sea anemones, the music accompanies the fears of the unknown void. The music itself is a haunting piano piece, accompanied with the sound of a bow dragging across a violin periodically. With conga drums giving off a tapping sound at times, it feels like the player is spiraling down into a maze-like environment in the underwater darkness. The pairings of D major and B minor keys help bring the frightening tones to life, alluding to what else may lie fathoms below. It could be something wonderful, yet it is shrouded in murky darkness as you swim further down. With how vast the ocean is, it helps push the fear of the open sea to high levels. The strangest part of it all is, after leaving the abyss, the usual Rayman upbeat music is back like nothing ever happened. But the memory of what you endured will linger with you as your quest continues.
Outside the church, Banjo-Kazooie. When you enter the eerie world of Mad Monster Mansion in Banjo-Kazooie, the spooky melody that greets you outside the ominous church sets the stage for a bone-chilling adventure. The music starts with a ghastly organ tune, reminiscent of classic monster movies, with the notes echoing through the empty woods. Slowly, the composition evolves, introducing trumpets, drums, xylophone, and other instruments while maintaining a haunting rhythm. The result is a symphony that captures the essence of a creepy atmosphere, with an underlying feeling of dread. The sounds of the surrounding woods add to the feeling of being lost in the midst of the haunting melody. Although not explicitly terrifying, the ambient nature of the music enhances the overall experience. This allows young players to feel a sense of unease as they explore the mysterious landscape of Mad Monster Mansion. What's more unnerving is that when the music is actually muted in the settings, this creepy track will still play in this area. This suggests that the song may have been accidentally mixed to the sound channel, as opposed to the music channel.
Creepy Castle Tombs, Donkey Kong 64. As players venture into the spine-chilling Creepy Castle Tombs area in Donkey Kong 64, they are immediately immersed in a hair-raising soundscape that perfectly complements the eerie atmosphere surrounding them. The haunting melody unfolds with an uncanny precision as the foreboding resonance of a xylophone sets the initial tone. Gradually, the musical landscape seamlessly transforms into a ghostly violin piece, adding layers of suspense and mystery. However, what truly sets this soundtrack apart is the inclusion of spectral moans and groans that echo throughout the level. Surprisingly, these otherworldly vocalizations are actually slowed down voice clips of Donkey Kong himself, creating an unsettling and unexpected auditory experience. While the music alone may not induce fear, the strategic placement of these ghostly sounds gives players the sensation of being surrounded by vengeful spirits. Despite the overall composition embracing a haunting vibe, the incorporation of these spectral moans adds an unsettling feeling to an already creepy level.
Big Boo's Haunt, Super Mario 64. The moment Mario arrives outside of Boo's haunted house, you'll be blasted by the extensive, unsettling vibes of the howling wind. This is accompanied by drums that sound close to heartbeats in a tambourine. When walking inside the residence, an offbeat marimba is introduced to make the music creepier to hear as you traverse the rooms. The music is a testament that everything in the mansion wants to attack you if you don't tread carefully with the entities you face. Throughout the many rooms, the camera and music make you feel as if someone is watching your every move. From the mad piano, bookends, killer chairs, Mr. Eyes, secret traps, and the many boos inside, pray you don't lose your nerve when dealing with them. Being the only music that's not copied for another stage in the game, it's very unique in how it's performed, and brings a shiver down your spine as you hear it again years later.
Tomb of the Ancients, Rayman 2, The Great Escape. In the Glade of Dreams, Rayman wanders through the Tomb of the Ancients, now occupied by the Robo-Pirates, who have used this spot as one of their strongholds. The pirates are the least of your worries, though, as you will encounter disembodied arms, lunging piranhas, and gigantic spiders. Venturing through the area, you will start to hear a drawn-out, wailing violin tune, which then escalates with the notes becoming deep and tense. You can hear the sounds of taut strings being played, almost sounding like the crawling legs of one of the many spiders you witnessed. Sprinkled throughout this nightmarish piece are the sounds of a music box being wound up and distant banging coming from, presumably, nearby pipes. The ambience gives off a feeling of you being watched and a paranoia that you are not alone. With both the sounds and the visuals, it's no wonder many people consider this as the most tense level in the game.
Undead, Conker's Bad Fur Day. After defeating Count Batula, and with Conker no longer being a bat, you realise your time is not over yet in the mansion. The undead are wandering the grounds, and the music will remind you of this. As you move through the mansion, you hear the sounds of a synthesizer, string instruments, a child's creepy laughter, and a booming bass as you make your way out. The music also accentuates how eerily quiet the mansion is, which can make you feel paranoia and gives you a sense of urgency to leave immediately. The music even makes it difficult when you try retrieving the 3 keys in separate parts of the mansion. Each step is jarring as you attempt not to fall off certain platforms. With a key in hand, unable to defend yourself, remaining zombies and childlike laughter in the soundtrack, the ramping up tension can reach high levels. Pray that your sanity remains intact as you take the 3 keys, one by one, and unlock the front door.
Misty Menace, Donkey Kong Country. As the quest of the muscular Donkey Kong draws to its conclusion, you will first need to pass through the Misty Mines before reaching the evil King K. Rool. This dark and damp cave is full of foes, but what really hammers it home is the unease in the audio track, made up of low-level ambience and the distant sounds of heavy industrial mining equipment. No other music is heard, giving a feeling of empty darkness, which is very effective for building tension. Knowing threats lurk just off screen, waiting to strike, will leave you creeping ahead step by step in the darkness. Though tread carefully, as you may find yourself falling down bottomless pits while you stumble through the dark. Considering the difficulty the game offers, every mistake is very costly, further adding to the anxiety. You will be kept on the edge of your seat until you reach that exit sign, where you can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Induction. Eversion. The Flower Kingdom has lost its princess, and the heroic ZT is on a quest to find her. It doesn't take long for the happy and colorful facade to fade as you dive deeper into the depths of Eversion. The visuals and audio grows progressively more unnerving and creepy the further you go. Once you get all 240 gems, you're permitted to reach the deepest depths of this horrifying existence in Worlds 7 and 8. The world becomes more dark, covered in invisible shadow creatures, huge arms reaching from the waters and thorns, deadly to the touch. The background looks like something from a Lovecraftian nightmare, and the music takes on a very chilling tone that instills dread, anxiety, and paranoia. Sounds of heavy breathing can be heard along with the pitch-shifting music. Everything about this experience feels like something plucked from the deepest, darkest recesses of your nightmares, far from how this adventure started.
Queen Vanessa's Manor, a hat in time. In order to fuel her spaceship, Hat Kid must try and find her lost timepieces, one of which is inside of Queen Vanessa's Manor, occupied by the unnerving Vanessa. The level itself is like a stereotypical haunted house, with Hat Kid having to run and hide from the shadowy figure of Queen Vanessa. The music in this level is very tense, with the sound of a faint droning thump and a violin being dragged ever so slowly. With each tentative step, you're reminded of the creeping dread of Vanessa lurking through the halls. If you're unlucky enough to have Vanessa spot you, the soundtrack becomes hellish, with it sounding like a broken, bellowing siren. This intense pounding sound replaces paranoia with blind terror as something quite horrifying bears down on you. Should you escape her pursuit, the music will return to its original droning, as Vanessa returns to prowling her manor. This musical piece fits well with the level, since you can't fight back against Vanessa, the only option left being to run for your life.
River Twygz Bed, Super Paper Mario. In Super Paper Mario, as Mario embarks on a mysterious journey down the River Twygz in the underwear, the accompanying soundtrack sets a chilling atmosphere. Named River Twygz, the music combines dissonant notes, creating an eerie, choir-like harmony with an indiscernible deep voice. As Mario navigates the river, the volume intensifies near the ghostly underhands, spectral hands that roam the level. The river's name itself, a clever play on the river Styx from Greek mythology, suggests a link to the afterlife, where the distorted voices may represent souls attempting to communicate from beyond. This unsettling composition adds to an overall sense of unease, as if players are trespassing in a realm they shouldn't linger in. This is a striking contrast in tone for the typically family-friendly Super Paper Mario, making the River Twygz a memorable and haunting moment in the series.
Did you enjoy the video? why not click the bell icon and subscribe to see more content from us at TatsTopVideos. And now let's see the creators of this video.